beginning.
Yes, Peter Sheehan had a very good win earlier against Ryan Mears in the deciding game, 7-6. And in the other semi-final, Causier defeated Rob Hall 7-5, and Hall was 5-1 up. So that was obviously a very good comeback from Dave Causier there.
Peter Sheehan, 12.
But this is obviously a new match, and I'm sure both players will be eager to get off to a good start. Even though they've already had a game this morning, it's a good start is really so important just to get your cue arm flowing again.
Yeah, Peter was just trying to play that drop cannon there with a bit of side to pull it across, but he didn't quite get enough on it, so Dave's back at the table.
5.
So for those of you watching on our stream, as always, just let us know where you're from and what your thoughts are. It'll be great to hear from you either on YouTube or on Facebook.
10.
And as you said, this is from the Snooker and Billiards Ireland Academy in Carlow. Really fantastic venue with 4 star tables and 4 Rasson tables. The feedback has been excellent, and this is the second time we've been here. There's a glimpse of some of the spectators there and player seats.
I think, Chris, this is maybe the first time that we've played under these sort of TV lighting, especially on the Rasson tables there. They've got 4 Rassons here, and they've got the lights that you'll see on the snooker on TV, and yeah, enormously bright. They do pump out a bit of heat, actually, when you're playing. But the conditions here have been absolutely first class.
Yeah, definitely. It's certainly the brightest tables I think I've seen. And it really does take a bit of getting used to. But as we've been saying, the feedback has been very good. And I think that's also been shown in the quality of play as well. There's some of the trophies there in the background, the main trophy and the winner and runner-up trophy there. Very difficult to predict who will be getting their hands on that. Some illustrious names on that trophy. Of course, Causier already has his name on it from last year, so he'll be looking to defend his title here. He defeated India's Sourav Kofari last year.
This will be Peter's first world final, I guess.
6.
Yeah, it will be. Yeah, certainly since his return to the game, and I think I'm right in saying that he's not previously been to a world final in his time as a professional in the late 90s. I believe that's the name Chris Shutt there. I just could make out what a fantastic player he was. Sadly not playing the game anymore, but it's a historic event. It was not played for many years, this World Matchplay title. The short format World Championship existed for several years, but this was brought back as an event in 2019. So obviously it's been the 100 up format. It's the only event played with the short format, as we call it. So it's for those who are not familiar, it's each game is first to 100 points, and it's best of 15. And for those who have been watching our videos this week on YouTube, etc., will be aware of the modified rules. But those who may not be familiar might need an explanation. So if your opponent pots your cue ball, then when you come back to the table, on your next visit in that game, you can actually play into bulk any ball, even if it's in bulk or out, but only for the first shot of your visit. And then after that, the normal rules apply. And the other aspect is there is no miss. So there's any miss is actually a foul. And that only really comes into play if you double bulk yourself or if you double bulk your opponent off the break off. And in that case, you have to try and hit the balls or it'll be a foul. So that could be quite pivotal in this format if the player has the ball spotted after a foul and makes a break to win the game. So we may see that if it crops up. But in the meantime, this in off white from Peter Sheehan, in fact, it's going straight for the drop cannon, looking to get to the top of the table.
Yeah, it'll be interesting, Chris, if anybody actually plays the aggressive break-off shot to obviously double balk their opponent, which means they then have to hit one of the balls that are in balk by shooting out of balk. Otherwise, you can have the ball spotted up and hope to, make a game-winning break. I'm not sure I've seen Peter Sheehan or Dave actually play that shot in the tournament so far, but some of the others have been.
Yeah, it's very risky, isn't it? For the reason that if you don't make the double bulk successfully and you leave one of the balls out of bulk, then especially if it's the red, then it can lead to your opponent making a break and running out the game by that error. So the usual break-off way of sending the red into bulk and your cubel on the side cushion is generally the safer option.
Yeah, what I've noticed actually is specifically with the break-off shot is players have been playing on the red thicker, so it doesn't go down towards one of the balk pockets and leaving the natural cannon. So if you play thicker on the red, it's going to sit more in over in the table, I guess, and not leave that natural cannon shot. Obviously, that means you need to get the pace right, because if you get too much on the red comes out, and you could be in trouble.
Peter Sheehan, 25.
But even though it's the short format, as we call it, it's still a very demanding format. I mean, you experienced that, Darren, and you're going into your last match there, having just had a close win there, and then having to go shortly into the next round, and it can be quite exhausting, can't it? Really, especially after such hard battles.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the match with Christian there in the last 16 was a bit of a grueler. Christian had gone against me 4-2 up, I think. It ends up going to a deciding game, which I managed to get over the line. But then within sort of 45 minutes or so, I was back on to play, obviously, Peter on the match table. Yeah, just a massive test of stamina, I guess. But it's great to see Peter in the final. Obviously, we've seen Dave in these situations a lot, but it's nice to see him. I think we all know how good a player he is. He's such a great guy as well, and it's great to see him playing in this final here.
Yes, he works for the police force in Merseyside, and I know he has to work long hours and manages to find time to put in the hours on the table as well. So it's not only has he got a demanding job, but and he's also got a family as well. But yeah, he manages to put the time in, and he's certainly getting the rewards from that this season. He's had a good season as Peter. He's been in he was in the Welsh Open final back in March. And that was also against Causier, but was the runner-up there, and he also reached the semi-finals in the long format World Championship out in Singapore last November, so he's gone one better here. And he's also picked up the English Amateur title as well, the EABA. event, so he'll be feeling confident of his game.
5.
Yeah, definitely. I think actually the best is still yet to come from Peter Sheehan, really. Such a great player. Obviously started to make some quite big breaks, but
38.
I think he's only going to get better, especially as he gets these big matches under his belt and gets the experience of mixing it up again. He's going to be a real threat.
41.
Yeah, and obviously both of these players will be able to run out, as it were, each game to quick visits. So if they do fall a bit behind, then they can catch up in what seems like no time at all. I mean, we saw that earlier from Dave catching up the against Rob there from having fallen behind at the interval.
49.
So Dave did really well there to hit the far side of the red to leave a shot on the red into that back pocket.
52. 54.
Well, this might work out well. So certainly looking good to take out this first game. Is Causier wouldn't expect him to break down from here. These 19 points at the moment.
$61.
He's controlled that pot red well there, so he's got this little mini
6.
drop cannon, as it were. Pot this red and go up high.
69.
6 points required.
71. 74. 76 on the first game.
It's the first game to Dave Causier.
Second game, Peter Sheehan's break. Three. Five. Eight. Eleven. 13. 15. 17. 20. 23.
So this is a situation where the modified rules in the short format come into play, with Peter Sheehan having potted Causier's ball. So when Dave does come back to the table, he'll have an open table basically, so he can actually play
29.
even on a ball in bulk. So Peter will need to be aware of that, but he's just playing some hazards at the moment in offs, which obviously builds up his score. He can make 15 consecutive hazards before he reaches the limit.
Yeah, in this scenario, it's always quite a tough one to work out how to play safe, I guess. Like you say, if he does run the 15 hazards, and then he needs to try and leave the ball somewhere on the table where Dave can't score, and that's easier said than done, I guess. But for now, he's just happy to build up a bit of a score, get his arm going. It's crucial that he gets off to a good start. Obviously, Dave's taken out the first game, but there's a chance for Peter in this one. Pressure, I think, especially after such a close game with Ryan, to come straight back out and play again against Dave in what is his first World Final. And I know it means a lot to him, but he's holding himself together so far.
50.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know he went back to the hotel just to have a short break there after his last after the semi-final there against Ryan Mears. So had a bit of time to compose himself, but I don't suppose he had a huge amount of time to really take everything in, because that match in the semis did go down to the wire. So he'll just be hoping to just keep up his momentum, really, and keep up his focus.
That's the thing, it's so tough to go again after such a long game, to then come back out and start again. So that's why I think the start is so crucial. If Dave gets off to a flyer, Peter's head, I guess, could quite easily go down and the fatigue starts to set in. But
Yeah, and just a word as well on Ryan Mears, who had a really good tournament, getting through to the semis, and he was so close to obviously making this final, and we know he's always been a capable player. He's been to the later rounds of these events for a good few years now. But and there he is, Ryan Mears in the centre there, and a great all-round cue sport player: snooker, billiards, pool. In fact, I believe he's represented England in all three of those cue sports. So that's some achievement, really. Great natural cueist, and I'm sure he'll be taking a lot of confidence. I'm sure he'll be disappointed, but it's been a great way to end his season, and I'm sure we'll be seeing a lot more of him next season on the tour.
we can see Wayne Carey there sat in the crowd. Travelled across from New Zealand.
Yeah, great guys, Wayne Carey, and I'm sure he won't mind me saying, but he's still playing at a very high standard at 78 years of age, and so much experience, and it's just it's great to see him enjoying it, and he's such a great sportsman, always gracious, win or lose, and very knowledgeable as well. So it's always great to chat to Wayne about the game.
12. 14. 17.
There he is, Wayne Carey from New Zealand. Such an epic journey that he's made to get here, but it's great to see him.
Yeah, I think he's travelled across on his own as well, Chris. Some effort that, really, for the love of the game.
19.
I think that's the great thing about billiards. You can continue to play for into your more aging years, I guess. In the Irish Open, we had Bert Sawyer from Jersey, 91 years old,
22.
playing in a WBL event. And we've also got Riley Ellis. Is Riley 19, Chris?
19, yeah.
19 years of age, so great to see those two guys here as well.
Yeah, and also we've had Annette Newman as well, who's from Ireland, participated in both of the events, and Stephanie Foley, who's sat next to her as well in the crowd there. So it's great to see them participating and assisting with refereeing as well. So
4.
I know they found it to be a great experience, and it's great to see them playing. Hopefully, we'll see some more of them in the future tournaments. I know they're coming over to Leeds, I believe, in August for the
37.
Jim Williamson event. So Causier's got the yellow beyond the spot there, so having to go up to the middle spot after 2 pots. But again, this is another good chance for you to take this second game.
Once Dave's in this position, you don't really expect him to miss.
No, absolutely. Just having to play a few pots here just to get in position, but if he pots this round and gets down
55.
back up for a nice position, he may even go in off here. Actually, it's not quite gone far enough for the pot.
58. 60. 62.
That red just drops in there.
65.
So Dave's on 65 here. He will have to cross the balk line between 80 and 100 points. The highest break so far, Chris, is that 104?
Yes, I believe that is correct. Yep, and of course you can get more than 100 points in this 100-up format. For example, if you played a 5-shot on 99, then you get all the points in your break. So we've seen plenty of run-out centuries, as it were. So we've seen 6 from Causier in this event so far. Sheehan has had about 5 unfinished centuries as well, and several 90s. So sure we'll be seeing many more in this match of just closing out these games in one visit.
81. Offline warning at 80.
So Angus McAnally gives the warning for the balk line crossing.
85.
With us mere mortals, this is where the cogs start whirring and you're thinking, how am I going to do this then? But for the likes of Dave and Peter, they seem to do it so easily. I guess when you're at the top of the table, it is easier than when you're in more open play.
Yeah, his break and his score is 88, so if he's going to run out the game in this visit, he'll need to cross the bulk line.
I think he's going to do it now, Chris.
Bulk cushion, side cushion, the other side cushion, top cushion. Perfect. So it looks formality now that Causier will take a 2-0 lead.
98.
Just this in-off red required.
101 in the second game.
So 101 unfinished. Excellent run out there from Dave Causier. Takes a 2-0 lead over Peter Sheehan.
Nice connection on the red to leave the in-off red.
5.
So he's brought the red round to the middle. And he'll be hoping to... I'm not sure if it's too far down, but I think he'll be hoping to leave the drop cannon. No, he's cleared the cannon, he's just gone behind.
And we've had a comment on YouTube. I've had a comment on YouTube about asking if a player receives a warning after hazards or consecutive in-offs or pots. And yeah, the referee does give a warning after 10 hazards. So basically a hazard is obviously a pot or an in-off or both in consecutive shots with no cannon involved. So the referee will give a warning after 10 and the limit's 15 hazards. It's not something we see a great deal with these guys. It's they're normally looking to develop the balls normally via drop cannon, get to the top of the table and score that way. But sometimes, like we saw with Peter Sheehan earlier, if they pop their opponent's ball, they may choose to play some hazards. But that was a mispot there from Dave. And these pockets are really strict tournament pockets, so even with great potters like both of these guys, it's nothing can be taken for granted, can it, Darren?
No, definitely not. And just on the hazard thing, Chris, I mean, you might see Dave or Peter, if they get to, say, 80 points on their score, they will actually elect to pot their opponent's cue ball and run the red for the remaining 20 or so points. It's not something you'd normally see in a long format game. If a top player pots his opponent's cue ball, generally speaking, they'll just play safe immediately, double pop up. With it just being a quick fire game up to 100 points, they will elect to run the red and try and see the game out. It's quite a surprise actually to see Peter back in so quickly after missing that cannon off the cushion. He's just hoping for that red to slide down a little bit more, for the cushion to leave the pot red. The white's in position behind the spot. And that's unfortunate, really. He's still got the cannon, I think, but he's got less control. It's not gone too bad. He should be able to pot the red and come up high above the line. And then again, cannon, red cushion. onto the white and push it up towards the imaginary line that goes through the billiard spot. So this is a good chance now. As you can see, both players are not actually wearing their bow ties in this match, and we haven't done so for these events. It's been positively tropical here in Ireland, so the dress code has been slightly relaxed.
Yeah, it's certainly been warm, but it has helped certainly by not having to wear the bow ties.
40.
And we just saw a moment ago Kevin Christie,
45.
who's the marker for this game. Kevin's a great referee, and alongside him there, head referee Brendan Devlin.
Absolutely, and all the referees and have been putting in long days here, and certainly their support is greatly appreciated. It's
53.
tiring work.
Yeah, especially if you get a long game that goes to a decider of a 7, 9, whatever frames. It's a bit of a thankless task, really.
8.
So I think we'll be seeing the recovery cannon next shot. So red cushion, white even, knocking the white ball up towards the almost level with the spot, and then you can play a little mini drop cannon, and that returns the white more level beyond the spot there, more in line. So this is a little sequence we see quite often. So almost where the star logo is on the cushion is virtually in the position there, right at the centre of the top cushion, and once it strays beyond that, the player will be looking to see if they can get the white back behind it. So he's almost dead behind the spot now.
73.
Knocked it on the cushion, so might see a few postman's knock shots here, which is when the opponent's cue was tight on the top cushion.
76. 78.
Heard a little double kiss there. You just saw that, and it's locked to the white there, right on the cushion behind the spot. So had a bulk club warning there, as Peter from Inglis McAnally, but he wouldn't actually need to cross it here. He's already on 92, so he only needs 8 more points to get his first game on the board. And I know it's a bit of a cliche, but you never really settle until you get your first frame or your first game on the board. So looks like that's going to happen here, and 2 or 3 more shots. In fact, he only needs 3 now, so probably will play cannon, knock the red over the pocket, in or over.
92 and the 30.
Oh.
Oh, no.
In fact, he needs to pot the red. So there we go. Peter Sheehan takes his first game in this match. He's pleased to get on the board, so still trails 2 games to 1.
Fourth game.
Yeah, I'll be pleased with that. So the score goes 2 games to 1 to Dave Causier.
7. 9. 9.
Great pot there from Dave into the middle pocket. Let's see another one here as he's going to play the in-off into this bottom right corner. He's controlled that really well.
6.
Yeah, even for great players like Causier, they're not straightforward to judge. But as you say, played it nicely.
8.
Could push the yellow beyond the spot here if he's got the angle to do so. Didn't quite have the
10.
Have the angle to do it there, but he's got the balls into a good position here.
$15. 17. 19.
We've got a comment there on YouTube. Loving this match play format. You've never really lost until you've lost. Quite right. Many a time this week we've seen players make a high break, nearly take out the game, and then obviously the miss, and their opponent comes to the table and takes out the game.
26. 9. 31. 4. 6. 8. 41. 43. 46.
Just a shout out to Sam Jones, our streaming expert, TYP Live, doing a fantastic job here.
51.
Really enjoying this high quality streaming.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sure you'll have noticed, our viewers here, that we have got some extra camera angles for you. So some pretty nice close-up shots as well. So hopefully you're all enjoying the extra angles that we've got here for you.
$59. 61. 64. 67. 66. 69.
So a nice connection there on the yellow, pushing it towards the spot. Red comes into the potting position.
72. 74.
Yeah, Causier certainly wasted no time in getting into this game. He's really taken his chance well so far.
77.
And as I said earlier, both these players are able to take games in a short space of time.
82.
And break.
87. 90. 92 on the fourth game.
So the score goes to 3-1 to Dave. Best of 15 games, so either player needs to get to 8.
Causier break.
So there's that thicker break-off shot, Chris.
Yeah, absolutely. That's worked out very well. And he's also got the white pretty close to the side cushion, so certainly a cannon here, it's not easy to judge. And I know for me, certainly I've found the slide of the cushions a little bit tricky to judge on those cannons. They certainly react differently to your standard club table.
Yeah, Dave could be straight back in here because
3.
the yellow's in the drop cannon area. He pushed the red down, and with a couple of shots he could be in prime position again. He's elected to pot the red into the middle.
6.
So he might just pot this red and go up high, leave the cross loser. Just playing it a bit slower, I think, and then to leave the drop cannon, he might try and bring it across towards the yellow.
12. 14. 16.
So now we're into drop cannon position.
18. 20. 23. 25. 28. 30. 33. 35. 57.
So Peter Sheehan will be hoping that Dave breaks down.
4.
Just leaves the red over the pocket for the pot red. I know he'd be sat there wishing he could get back on the table, but Dave's doing a good job at the moment of keeping him off it.
43.
Yeah, absolutely. There's nothing that you can do when you're sat in your chair, but
45.
Peter will just be making sure he maintains his focus, because a chance can still come along, and well, in any form of the game at this level, but especially in 100 ups, you just got to be ready to take that chance when it comes. And as we said earlier, a game can always be snatched. We've seen that a number of times. So
it can be so frustrating though, Chris, when you sat there in your chair, you know you're playing really well, but the other guy just won't let you have a go.
55. 58. 60.
yeah, and we had a comment here from Philip Simpson saying that Dave Causier is such a quick thinker and an amazing billiards brain. That's definitely true. He's such very rarely takes any time to think of the shot. He's just quickly down on the shot. Just fantastic speed of scoring, and just pulls out amazing recovery shots when needed. But he's not able to pull out any recovery shots here because he's just in great top of the table position here, floating white. Really taking advantage of this spell of play to build up a handy lead.
75.
And of course, best of 15 games, first to 8. So, in what seems like no time at all, Causier could already be halfway there if he runs out the remainder of this visit.
81 blockline warning at 80. 83.
Yeah, bearing in mind we've maybe playing for what, 45 minutes or so, and there's already maybe 500 or 600 points being scored in this match.
Yeah, I really can't see anything to cause any issues for Causier here.
94.
For the remainder of this break, just needs enough of 4 more points. He could do it in one shot, so another excellent break there from Causier. Halfway now to the winning line in this final, but I'm sure we'll be seeing some more Peter Sheehan when he gets that chance that he needs. But at the moment, it's Causier with the momentum.
Friend, Peter Sheehan to break.
And just in the background there is Eugene Hughes, former professional snooker player and former pro billiard player, and he's been in this championship. Great to see him here this week. And a real snooker and billiards legend is Eugene, so it's great to have him here, and hopefully we'll see some more of him in the future.
So a great opening shot from Peter. give him this opportunity to try and get another game on the board. Just drops that white down, trying to leave the drop cannon to achieve the top of the table position.
9.
It's gone a little bit awkward, so what's he going to do here, Chris, then? I think he was trying to leave a shot on the white, wasn't he? But he's got the enough red in the middle.
Yeah, I think he was just trying to make sure he had at least a shot of either of the balls there, just preferably the red, I suppose. If he had the white there as backup, like you say, and looks like he can just get off this white just far enough away from the side cushion to be able to do that.
16.
No shots are never easy, are they, Darren? Especially when you've been sat down for the best part of the last 2 games.
Yeah, definitely. With these super slick cloths as well, if you don't hit it quite true, it can push off the line, and with the tight pockets as well. I think Peter will be disappointed there, though, really.
4.
You can tell he's itching to get into the game, and that was a chance for him, but
7.
it's so hard when you play the likes of Dave and you keep coming to the table. You might not have much to go at. You're feeling a little bit cold, you can't get your arm going, and seemingly whenever he gets a chance, he makes a big break, or he wins the game in this format.
11.
And we touched on the point earlier about fatigue, I guess, being a long sort of
13.
week or so.
Yeah, absolutely. This is actually the 8th day of competition here. It started Friday last week, a week ago, in the Irish Open. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then this World Match Play started on Monday. So there's been a lot of play over the last week, and certainly can take its toll when, especially getting to the later rounds. And there's been 2 matches a day for the last couple of days.
It's gone a little bit awkward. Dave should be able to play the screw back cannon off the yellow.
25.
The thing with Dave is, no matter where the balls are, he seems to be able to find a shot. And especially with this 100-up format, he's just relentless. He can find a shot from anywhere, keep the break going, and
30.
keep the pressure on, I guess. It's a nice close-up shot there.
Yeah, made sure to get the other side of the 2 balls here so we can play enough a little cannon back, and that pushes the red, as you can see, towards the pocket.
Seven. 40. 42. 45. 48.
This has gotten a little bit awkward. I think he can just play a very thin cannon there on the red. Yep, just sneak the yellow there, but this is certainly far from easy as well, this next shot. Queuing awkwardly there, as you can see. Oh, what a fantastic recovery there, but he's going to be very unlucky there to see that yellow drop in. So this is where it gets interesting, Darren, isn't it? How he opts to play safe here with Peter Sheehan having an open table. Normally you'd send a ball into bulk there, but that's not bad, Brie, is it?
Yeah, I think the white's come out too far though. He's left the cannon here. Peter gets a bit of, well, quite a lot actually, of run inside. He's not quite got into the cue ball enough there, I don't think. But is that white? I thought the yellow was going to drop in.
And if he does play a cannon off the red, it's a fairly big target, but looking like he's going to play safe here. What do I know? Great enough there, run through. Managed to avoid double kiss. Can he follow it with a great pot red here? Certainly can. So yeah, Peter had half a chance, I suppose you could call it. But although he's not yet at the top of the table, he's certainly in a commanding position. I think Peter there, I think his expression just sums it up slightly here for him at the moment. Just hasn't really been able to get his hand on the table for a little while, and that's really frustrating for him.
He's just looking for that really good opening. Get himself in, feeling good. But like you said, it just doesn't seem to quite happening yet.
That was a great shot there. You can see the spin on that white there. That was a really narrow drop cannon. Played with a lot of check side, right hand side in that shot. Just to narrow the angle there that the cue ball took off the yellow. And those certainly need a lot of touch. It's a good shot to practice actually, because to get the side on without hitting the ball too hard.
18.
And then we see another great recovery cannon. He'll just be looking to get over the 100 points. He won't worry about whether it has to be all around the table. Just so eager to get that frame on the board, and of course a 5-1 advantage. Brilliant long journey there, Darren. Those are certainly not easy, are they, on here?
Yeah, he's hit that well. He needs another 16 points now to take a 5-1 lead, but he's played a safety shot. Maybe a slight bit of frustration there in that shot from Peter Sheehan.
Yeah, he's just so desperate to try and get back to the table, isn't he? And this is certainly not easy with the red where it is, but can't see any obvious shot. But normally you'd pop the white here and double bulk, but not in this format.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Can he get the run through?
Well, that's not really a flick that he would have wanted too much. So he's going to have to think of a really good safety here. Remember, Dave Causier can play any ball, even if it's in bulk here. He only needs 16, so really not much that Sheehan could have done there. It's really tough.
42. Four. Six. 9.
So 7 points needed then to take a 5-1 lead.
12.
Yeah, he's queuing brilliantly, scoring brilliantly. And there it is. So 5-1
And the 6.
lead. Dave Causier over Peter Sheehan in this final.
We have one more frame.
He's really in driving seat, and it's going to be one more game before a short interval. So
7th frame, Dave Causier.
you know, it sounds obvious, but certainly Peter Sheehan really just wants to take this frame just to get on the scoreboard. But he just wants a chance, really. That's all he needs to try and get on the table, really.
We've got some comments from people saying that it must be really intimidating playing Dave in this format, or in any format. I think that's the case for if you play any of the very, very top players. It's always a challenge, and when you come to the table, even if you do get a chance, a good chance, there's more pressure on it. You know that you need to score heavily, and if you don't, you're going to be punished.
6.
And that's what Dave's doing at the moment. He's punishing Peter Sheehan every chance he gets.
9.
It's a strange thing to say, but on the point around fatigue, I think for me, Dave doesn't seem to suffer as much with regards to fatigue as some players do. He just seems to be, often we say he's relentless, I guess. But he just seems to keep on going and gets better and better as it goes on. And he's got another chance now.
19.
Push the yellow across the table and behind the billiards spot.
21.
It's not quite come across far enough. So another
23.
series of cannons.
25.
And he's looking to try and leave the mini cannon to push the balls back across the table.
98.
That's a great shot. He's controlled that really well. And he's on the angle now to play the mini drop cannon. Starting to move that yellow back towards the billiard spot.
6.
Let's play with some side here to push the yellow up towards the line.
41. 44. 46.
Yeah, and also, of course, it's worth remembering that Dave Causier not only had a really tough semi-final, but in the quarterfinals, he had a 6-5 win over Peter Gilchrist. So that was a really top-class match, and one that we see quite often in the final. Extremely tough draw there for, well, every draw is tough, but especially against someone like Peter Gilchrist at that stage of the event. And 6-5, it went down to the wire. And Peter Gilchrist had breaks of 96, 101 unfinished, 102 unfinished, 2 more breaks of 101 unfinished, but Causier still ran out the winner in that decider. So that was a really tough match. One that I'm sure he'd be very relieved to have got through.
Yeah, it goes without saying that Dave, Peter and Rob all been in that side of the draw. That's definitely the tougher half of the draw, but Dave's managed to come through it. 2 tough games against Peter Gilchrist and Rob Hall. And that's all due to the seeding from the group stages. Dave dropped a game against Steve Brookshaw.
68.
In fact, Martin Goodwill was in that side of the draw as well, I believe. So some really top players in that half of the draw, I guess.
72.
The rate goes to 72.
Couple of little delicate cannons there, but again, just progressing towards that winning line in this game. He's just really on fire at the moment.
81. Offline warning at 80.
Yeah, I think already Dave will be starting to see
84.
the winning line. The interval is probably going to come in at a good time for Peter Sheehan. I think Dave would like it to go on,
89.
as he's on such a good run. But it might be a chance for Peter Sheehan just to
92.
regroup and see what we can do in the second part of the match.
Yeah, it's just been a bit of a blizzard of scoring, really, hasn't it, from Causier?
Offline close.
Fault line crossed. So just 5 more needed. And we know that Peter Sheehan is certainly capable of calling back this scoreline, but Causier's only going to be 2 away from victory as they go into their interval shortly.
99.
So any score needed here. Simple enough yellow. That will take us to the interval.
101 and the 7th round. 15-minute break.
15-minute break. Dave Causier 6-1 up over Peter Sheehan in this World Match Play Billiards Championship final. Stay tuned. We'll see you shortly.
Causier.
So welcome back to everybody watching online on YouTube and Facebook. The 2023 World Matchplay Billiards Championship final between Dave Causier and Peter Sheehan. Dave's leading currently 6 games to 1. And it's been quite non-stop really. Incredible stuff from Dave. Peter Sheehan currently struggling a little bit to get into the game, but he'll still be hopeful that he can do something in this match. Just looking back over the game scores so far, Dave's had a 76 unfinished, 101 unfinished, 92 unfinished, another 101 unfinished, and another 101 unfinished. And in the game that Peter Sheehan won, he had a 94 unfinished to win that game. So it's been whistle-stop stuff. One visit billiards, I guess.
14.
And Dave's back at the table in this 8th game. I'm Darren Clark. I'm joined by Chris Coombe here in the commentary box.
Yeah, of course, it's best of 15 games, so first to 8.
18.
But yeah, Dave Causier has been really impressive here.
21.
Alan Gibson's watching on YouTube from Peter's hometown in Widnes, and he's got Alan's saying that Peter's got a big mountain to climb. And I think you're right, Alan. It's a bit of an uphill task here for Peter, but he won't give up. But Dave's just been relentless so far.
31. 33. 35.
Angus McAnally, our referee there, watching on as Dave knocks that red in.
38.
We'll just pot this red and go up to the cross loser. I think he's tried to leave the enough yellow there to develop the
1.
drop cannon position. Looks to be a little bit thin, but he's got that.
3.
Yeah, he's set up a perfect drop cannon position now, so you'll want to get a fit contact on the red.
45.
Not quite worked out quite as well on the red, but he looks like he can play a shot off this. He didn't have the in off, but he was able to play the cannon, as you see, and that
47.
has actually gathered the balls quite nicely there, but still a little bit tricky. May have to just come away from perfect top for a moment.
52. 54.
Well, you mentioned down about the interval and that not really coming at the right time for Causier, but
6.
just seems to have carried on where he left off really after that 15-minute gap there, the 15-minute break.
Yeah, very much so. Like we said, Dave, you can start to see the finish line now.
61. Four.
Two more games required for Dave to defend his World Matchplay Championship title.
67. 69.
And it's been a good season for Causier all round. He's won 5 previous titles so far since last August when the season began.
Red shirt.
And
72.
of course, as we said earlier, he won the World Championship long format out in Singapore last November at the Ronnie O'Sullivan Academy.
75. 78.
And a few days ago, he also reached the final of the Irish Open. Causier did. It was a great final against Peter Gilchrist. Both had some big breaks in that final. It was really high scoring, very few visits at all. It was just fantastic,
81.
but just slightly short there on that break. It looked like he was going to run out there, but there is a chance here for Peter Sheehan. What can he do? Can he get his Q arm going and take this chance? It's really it's really been tough for him. Not easy when you've just been spending so long sat down, but let's hope we can see some of the form that has got him to this stage.
5. Ten. 12.
Can he run through and avoid the white going in? Does he have a shot on the red directly? Yeah, you can see the red, so he's knocked the red in.
15.
'It's not easy that. It was just a bit wider than normal, but he'll be disappointed though. That was a good chance, but as we said, it's been so tough for Peter Sheehan in this final.
3.
Of course, he just put his hand up there, just caught the jaw of the middle pocket, but the red's come out quite nicely though. Could have gone wrong.
6. 9. 11.
Just have to be careful with this pot there, Whitney Darren. These aren't straightforward, are they? Although Causier makes it look easy.
Yeah, these pockets are not easy, and like you said, Chris, if you don't hit that well, if you don't hit it cleanly, you could quite easily rattle.
16.
Dave's such a great potter though, and he never seems to miss a pot.
18.
Yeah, I don't think Dave actually plays much snooker, Darren. Is that right?
I've never seen him play snooker.
1 on the 18.
But either way, that was a great. Couldn't really capitalise on it. It's been so tough for him so far. But Dave Causier just seems unstoppable at the moment.
Ninth game, Dave Causier, break.
And that only puts him, of course, one game away now, David Causier, from defending his World Matchplay title. And I know a lot of the supporters here watching and online will be huge admirers of Dave's play, but I'm sure it'd be nice to see some of Peter Sheehan's good form in this match, if he can get some chances and get some breaks together, because he's a fantastic player and has really played well in this event. But he's just been frozen out so far.
Yeah, it's just been a bit unfortunate how things have gone so far for Peter. He's going to be disappointed, but he's still in the match. He hasn't lost it yet. Breaks it down, take one game at a time. He's capable of getting back into it, but it's whether Dave's going to let him do so.
Yeah, that red could have gone anywhere really, but that it still worked out well there. Got the enough red. Not easy to control it over that distance, mind you. So I think that's gone a little awkward. Can get a cannon though across the table. Just got to make sure not to pop the yellow.
Dave Causier, 8.
I'm sure Peter will be pleased to get back to the table, but it's not an easy opener.
Yeah, Dave's maybe a little bit fortunate as to where the balls have landed there. But it's a good opening red there from Peter Sheehan. Leaves him on the cross loser line now.
And I guess his first objective here would be to try and get the white back into open play, because where it is at the moment is not very good for him. Looks like it's Confana for a cannon here. Just needs to make sure he keeps position. Not easy to judge.
11.
Got a little double kiss there, but controlled the red nicely. Still a bit of work to do though.
Yeah, I'll just knock this red in, I think, and then maybe take another red before playing the in-off white into the middle. Get both balls into action.
17. Right. 23.
Yeah, Peter Sheehan's got a very similar style really of cue action. Just doesn't have to waste much time getting down on a shot. A couple of feathers and straight through.
6. 8.
And one of the things I certainly admire about Peter Sheehan is how he really gets through the ball. Just if you watch his cue, it's just brings the cue back, lovely follow through. Hopefully we'll get a bit of a closer picture of that soon. Really solid strike, but great touch as well. And a very heavy score at the top of the table. It's gone a little tricky now though.
Yeah, he's just not getting those little nicks and rolls that sometimes you need when you're up against it. He's battling away though.
6.
He's controlled that one nicely.
Yeah, nice slowing off there just to leave the drop cannon, white to red. You'll need to get a good contact on the red here.
Yeah, just trying to avoid getting a cover, really, I guess, but that's not gone great again, really. But the break continues.
Yeah, and it's I'm sure Peter Sheehan will know in the back of his mind, although he probably won't be trying not to think about it, but he knows that any mistake really could be the end of the match potentially. So, but commentator's curse, I think. But we'll soon see if Causier can take advantage of this opening. I don't see Peter Sheehan miss too many pots, but yeah, he'll be disappointed, but still work to do though for Causier.
There's the trophy that they're playing for.
5. Eight.
Played a 6 shot there because he will always have this in off yellow. Ideally hoping to leave a drop cannon, but he might have to play enough in off yellow first to set up that position.
Yeah, and I think he just played that there with a bit of run inside to avoid the yellow ball going into the pocket. I think the natural angle there was a risk that both balls would have went in. I think that's one of the things that you maybe can't see is these little bits of side, and helps to avoid situations like that.
19.
I think they've gone in the line. Has he got the enough red? So the enough red is executed. Again, playing that with side to run it round off the angles. Sliding off the side cushion.
Eight. 13. 3. 35. 8.
So the scores are almost level now in this, what could be the final game. The drop cannon now trying to leave the red on the opposite pocket,
43.
opposite side of the table, which he's done. He drops the red in and comes high. So you might see him now just skim off the top of the yellow,
8.
looking to leave the pot red, but he's left the cannon.
50.
Yeah, and if he takes this break up to the winning line, he won't need to cross the bulk line because it's already on 61 points. his break's at 53, so he'll just be looking to take no risks here, just keep his score ticking along. I'm sure he knows that the winning line is very much approaching now. Really solid performance. It's just fantastic to watch.
That's a really surprising miss there from Dave, that pot into the middle pocket. Peter Sheehan will be surprised at Dave missing that there, but he's got a chance now. 51 points required.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that, Darren, but
He didn't want that red to go in.
certainly gone awkward now. He might be able to get in off this white, but this is far from easy. Got in off the white, but potted the white as well. And remembering these modified rules that we're using in this match play championship, Dave can now play any ball, so even if it's in bulk. So that's why we've not seen the standard break off there. The safety shot, putting both balls on the side cushion, is the shot there. But Dave's managed to manufacture a cannon.
Yeah, and this looks ominous now, Chris.
Yep, just 27 points needed. But it's been a fantastic 8 days of billiards here at the SBI Academy in Carlow in Ireland.
13.
40 players started out in the World Match Play, 50 in the Irish Open. It looks like the world number 1, Dave Causier,
16.
world champion in a long format.
18.
Looks like he's going to successfully defend his World Match Play title if he can just stay at the table for the remaining 12 points.
21.
Solid performance all round, Darren, isn't it? Really, pretty impressive. And there's not many players that could have done much really from this position that Peter Sheehan found himself in.
26.
Yeah, I mean, initially he's going to be disappointed, but his time will come for sure.
I know this means so much to Dave. He put so much dedication into the game, as do all the top players, but I know how passionate Dave is, and red goes back on the spot, so this is the winning shot then. 2023 World Match Play Billiards Champion. David Causier beats Peter Sheehan 7-1, dominating performance. So big well done to Dave Causier there. Commiserations to Peter Sheehan. He had a great run to the final here. Just came up against a machine there, really. Just fantastic to watch. But I'm sure he'll take a lot of positives from it.
Yeah, fantastic. Well done, Dave. Hard luck, Peter. Thanks to all the competitors and referees. From myself, Chris, and the Board of Directors of World Billiards, we hope you've enjoyed the event. You've enjoyed the live stream from TYP Live. We'd like to thank Snooker and Billiards Ireland for hosting us in this fantastic venue, and our partner Hotel the Talbot here in Carlow.
Yeah, do stay tuned for the presentation, which will be taking place shortly. But it's been a feast of billiards. Of course, all the recordings from previous matches are on our YouTube channel. But we'll now hand over shortly to the presentation. So thanks for joining us, and we'll see you soon. But stay tuned for the presentation.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, those of you watching live on our WBL internet feed, thank you very much. I do hope you've enjoyed what has been a fantastic tournament and a great final. Make the presentation in just a moment. Once again, I would like to ask for a round of applause, please, for our sponsors of the World Match Play from the Academy here, Snooker Billiards Ireland, SPI. Thank you so much. Truly wonderful when the players from all over the world say these are fantastic playing conditions. And I'm delighted to have a great weather.
About the heat.
We have a bit cooler next year now. That'll be absolutely incredible. But a great tournament. We preceded the match play with the Irish Open, and it was great to see so many players from home playing and also our ladies playing. It was great to see you and welcome. We hope to see more of you in future WBL tournaments. First of all, I would like to make a little presentation to the marker of the final, and that's Mr. Kevin Christie. Kevin Christie, you might know him from quick posts on Instagram and all and a brilliant man who has been involved in billiards all his life, and his meticulous nature of how he kept and annotated everybody in every game and every referee was fantastic. It made our job so much easier. And we'd like to make a presentation, please, to our head referee, Mr. Brendan Devlin. Thank you so much. And so to our runners-up, and I'd like to invite the chairman of SBI, Mr. Dylan Rees, to make these presentations, please. To our two semi-finalists, both of whom will receive these wonderful Ballyshane trophies that working place a few miles out of the town there, and they make these wonderful wooden items to make cheese boards, things like that. But it's all from fallen trees. They don't cut anything down. It's storm-damaged trees, and he fashions these. I think they're just lovely. We wanted to get something that was a little bit individual. Two fantastic semi-finalists today that had us on the edge of our seats. Delighted to see this young man making his way to a world semi-final, Mr. Ryan Mears. No. This man is one of the greats, and we all struggle, and this is brilliant to see you doing this. Okay, proud of you. How do you get up in time to play? It's wonderful. Not proud you're driving. Well, no, you have to play. Anyway, Ryan Mears, our semi-final. The hope didn't capture. We need to get to anybody watching online, this was absolutely all above board. It's over. Thank you so much. The other semi-finalist, an incredible player, played really well out in India recently. Won the Irish. We've won so many tournaments and just came up a tiny bit short this afternoon. The brilliant Mr. Rob Hall. And each of our semi-finalists will receive a cheque for 1,250 sterling. Thank you so much, Rob. Well done. And so to our runner-up for the 2023 SBI World Match Play. Brilliant display during the week, and just didn't seem to get too many chances here in the final, but a brilliant player, and a man who is determined. He says, I'm going to stick at it, I'm going to take him down, and I know he will at some stage in the future, because he's a stunningly beautiful, brilliant player. I'm speaking, of course, of Mr. Peter Sheehan, our runner-up. For 2,500 will be heading this way to you. Thank you, Peter. We look forward to seeing you again. And so, ladies and gentlemen, to the winner of the match play, indeed retaining the title that he won here 12 months ago. It's the wonderful Mr. David Causier. And as is customary, I'll ask Dave to say a few words. The winner always speaks. Dave loves speaking in public, don't you?
There's not a lot to really say. I just think a lot of work goes in by the committee. Conditions are here faultless, as everyone knows. Just like to thank sponsors and family for putting up with me. And I don't know, I'm speechless at the moment, so I'll just let it go short.
That's it, ladies and gentlemen. Your winner for 2013 is the David Causier.
Where's the ticket take?
Confetti guns.
Yeah. Someone.
Yeah.
Oh, just saying, oh yeah, sorry. Yeah. And a final thank you to somebody who's worked behind the scenes so brilliantly. And if you have a look at our World Billiards YouTube channel, you'll see the quality of our streaming with 5 cameras, all from a guy who's only 3'8". It's unbelievable. The brilliant Sam Jones. Sam, wonderful streaming. Thank you so much. And it is our intention, though.
I think we all went to this one. We just stopped for 10 days.
Yeah, here.
Close.
And the energy, unbelievable. So we have to pass this one. He's been driving the whole thing for 7 or 8 days. So, English well.
We do hope you've experienced an Irish welcome, those who've come from overseas, and particularly to Wayne, who came a short distance from New Zealand. So the very best of luck on your way home. I hope you get there by February or March. Should be good. But we do want to try and make the match play here that will be its home in SBI in the academy. So hopefully we can have that nurturing relationship going forward. It is brilliant, and there is rumours that we may be getting 2 more tables here in Carlow. So can you imagine this place with 10 tables? So big thanks to Sheehan and also to PJ for their wonderful work in how the club is presented every day. We really do appreciate it, Shane. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That's it. Safe travel, and we see you on the 13th and 14th of August in Leeds for the Jim Williamson Memorial Tournament. So congratulations, Dave, and to all our members. Thank you so much.
Just about the right time, isn't it?
Yeah.